Actually, one of my favourite things that I used to love to have was Sara Lee, the cheesecakes. And I'd eat a whole cheesecake after dinner. That would be my dessert.
That's amazing. No, it sounds like the amount of kilometres that you swam, you well deserved it.
This is Legends with Bevo. Thanks to Anytime Fitness Glenelg, Renelec Electrical Services.
Well, what a pleasure it is today to be joined by three amazing guests. We're joined by Laurie Lawrence, former Australian swim coach and been involved with the Kids Alive program for 20 years now. Minichiello, 259 games of NRL and 6 tests for Italy. And the last but not least, Tammy Van Wisse, over 65,000 kilometres swum, 6 world records. 5 of those are still yet to be broken today. Great to have you all on Legends with Bevo. What a privilege it is.
Thank you.
Great to be with you.
Laurie, we'll start. You're most welcome. Laurie, we'll start with you. Obviously, I mentioned before you're involved with the Australian swim team as coach, and you've been involved with the Olympics as well. And we're super excited about Tokyo not far away. And for 20 years, you've been involved with the Kids Safe program. Mate, talk to us through your journey in swimming.
Mate, long story. Make it short. Snotty-nosed kid in Townsville. Olympic swimmers came up. I was chasing autographs. Listened on the crackly radio to the 1956 Olympics. And then I wanted to be a swimming coach. It all happened from there. Teacher and then a swimming coach. And I had lucky enough to coach world record holders. Stephen Holland's probably the super fish that I've ever had. An amazing kid. I wish he'd have been playing for us State of Origin last night. It would have been good.
We'll get to that in a moment. You can't wipe the smile off Mark's face at the moment. Hey, Laurie, also, mate, 20 years involved with the Kids Alive program. What is it about the program that you enjoy so much, and how'd you get involved? And tell us a bit more about it as well.
Well, the Kids Alive program is about preventing drownings in kids under 5. When I first started, 63 kids under the age of 5 drown in Australia every year, which is just unbelievable. And I got into it by mistake, and first year the drowning stats went straight down. So I had a tiger by the tail. I've been doing it now for 20 years, and the stats, I look forward to the Royal Lifesaving stats coming out every June, and we've gone from 63 nationally down to 12 last year. So it's been an amazing journey with the media helping us, and now we've got this special things on where all our friends, Kids Alive friends, come in and read books for the kids.
Oh, that's terrific. For 20 years, it's a very long time. You must really enjoy being involved, Laurie.
Look, I love it, but the problem is if I don't keep it front of mind, the drowning stats go up. When I first started in Queensland, when we led the world per capita with preschool drownings, we had 23 little kids in Queensland drown. And I got to go around the state after Duncan Armstrong had won the Olympic gold medal, and I gave Steve Quartermain a bit of a touch-up, and the drowning stats went from 23 to 10.
Wow.
And when I stopped doing it, stopped travelling, they went straight back up to 26. It's just, if you don't put it out there, the drowning stats go up. People have got to have it front of mind. And that's why I'm so fortunate to have people get on board to give us a hand, because when you get superstars like Anthony and Tammy getting on board, Kathy Freeman, Husey, all these people that have read the books, it's amazing the influence it has on young kids. Amazing.
Yeah, well said. And those sort of stats speak for itself, making such a difference from 26 down to 10. That's huge, isn't it? And like you said, there needs to be more awareness about the dangers of kids being near pools and that sort of safety awareness. And that's so good this program is available.
Well, I'll tell you something that really appalls me, and we don't know so much about it. For every one child that drowns, last year 6, 8 more suffer brain damage and affected for life.
That's
because
staggering.
They get in, they get resuscitated, and that's the scary thing. Once little kids start to walk, crawl, that's when it's even more dangerous, before they learn to swim. So I'm just so grateful and thankful that people like Tammy and this state of origin champion who's smirking in the background because of the victory last night. I'm so grateful that they've come on board to give us a hand. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Yeah, well said. And speaking of that superstar, Mark Minichiello, 259 games of NRL, 6 tests for Italy, a very famous name. Talk to us through your career, mate, and your journey into playing NRL.
Yeah, I started playing when I was 6. I was, played pretty much my whole life. I debuted at the Roosters. Obviously, my brother played his whole career at the Roosters. We both debuted there. And then moved on to South for 4 years. I got a really good start in first grade regular there, and then moved on to the Gold Coast where I'm living at the moment. Played 8 years for the Gold Coast and hold the games record.
What an amazing career!
Really loved it.
And the 6 tests for Italy as well. That must have been pretty special to represent your country.
Yeah, certainly was. Alongside my brother in both those World Cup tours, one in England and one here. And
Tammy, over 65,000 kilometres swum, 6 world records. 5 of those today are still yet to be broken. Phenomenal achievement. Talk to us through your journey in swimming.
Well, as a marathon swimmer, I'm a marathon talker as well, so I'll keep it short. But so I guess I started as a competitive pool swimmer, and I got into lifesaving, which was fantastic, and that transitioned me into open water swimming, and just started doing English channels, and just loved the challenge of being out in the open water, and then went on to do some crazy challenges. I've swum across Bass Strait and the length of the Murray River, which was 2,500 kilometres. So pretty amazing adventures, and just wonderful to meet so many people. But just so grateful to be involved in the Kids Alive program, because I just think it's such a fantastic program for the kids. And I'm here in Victoria at the moment, and we've been in lockdown. So even more poignant, I think, that we have these wonderful books that the kids can read online and learn so much more about water safety. So it's fantastic to be here today and to be involved.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Kids Alive Story Time with Famous Friends. Very interesting title. You mentioned it as well there about the importance of water safety for children. Laurie spoke about it before, and those significant stats that are so important in terms of reducing the numbers of drownings that we have. Tell us more about the program and what made you want to get involved and what you're enjoying about it so far, Tammy.
Well, I've got a swim school as well here in Melbourne, so it's called Swimland, and obviously we help lots of kids, and you just see the benefits of swimming lessons starting from a very early age when the kids come in sort of around about that 5 month of age. We get the babies in for the water familiarisation, and it just makes such a tremendous difference for them to have that awareness and learn the skills so early, life-saving skills. And I think that's why swimming lessons are so important. I mean, it's important for kids to participate in sport, but swimming lessons is a skill for life, something that can save their life one day. So for me, it was a no-brainer to get involved with the Kids Alive program, because they've done so much fabulous work over the last 20 years and created such a fantastic awareness. And we celebrate Water Safety Week every year, and we sing the Kids Alive song, and you can see all the kids know the words to the song. And as Laurie was talking about before too, it's about creating that awareness and keeping it front of mind, especially when the warmer months come around. We just need to continually get that message home. And it's a great way to do it through the kids, because they often remind their parents about things too. So that's what makes this program super special.
Yeah, I think it's really important as well. I know myself, I started swimming at a very young age, and if I have kids in the future, I'm sure you guys will be the same as well, that it's so important now to educate kids at a very young age about the importance of water safety, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a 13-year-old now, but she started when she was 6 months of age. And it just makes such a difference. And it's such a lovely journey to do with your kids as well, like, being in the water with them when they're babies and staying with them and teaching them the skills. It's just such a lovely, beautiful bonding time. So for parents, it's also something really nice to be able to share. And a lot of parents don't know how to swim either. So it's a good opportunity for parents to learn how to swim and also those life-saving water skills.
Yeah, well said. And Mark, your involvement in the program, how did you become involved, and tell us what you're enjoying about it so far?
Yeah, definitely. It's a great initiative. We've all heard the stats. I've got 4 boys myself, and when we moved back from England back to the Gold Coast, we're surrounded by water, and water safety is a massive issue, and it's something that I want to teach my boys, and then if I can impact other parents and other children's lives to make sure that water safety and that awareness is out there. You've got so many different bodies of water, the beach, the pools, the streams and rivers that so many people up here on the Gold Coast, just enjoy. I've got, like I said, 4 boys at 10, 8, 7 and a 2-year-old. So, we're going to be going through that, swing process again with the young fella. And this message is out there, like Laurie said, if it's not front of mind, then, people forget about it. Parents are busy. So it's just getting that awareness out there, pushing that same button so people get that water safety that they need, and it's a great thing that we can do it through these books. It's they're pretty fun. It's something that we all need to be a little bit more passionate about, and teaching our young kids how to be safe in the water.
Again, well said, and it's great that you're involved, Mark. And like you mentioned, it's wonderful that your 4 kids as well. You're so focused on helping them with the program and getting them involved too. It's great.
Yeah, as you said, it's a skill for life, and being up here and being able to enjoy the water in the heat in the summer, it's something that is a must for me as a parent anyway. So hopefully other parents think of it the same way.
And Laurie, let's get back to your amazing swimming career as the coach of the Australian Dolphins. Talk to us through some of the highs and lows of your coaching career.
They've all been highs. I've been to 8 Olympic Games. The only low is New South Wales beating us at State of Origin last Wednesday night. That's the only low in my life. So, I'm so fortunate. The pool has been my palace, with Duncan Armstrong beating Matt Biondi, 6 gold medals at the Olympics, and Armstrong grabs him by the jugular and gives it a shake. I mean, Wickham had the world record for something like 12 years, but, I took her in a marathon swim once, and that's why I have to take my hat off to Tammy. She was hopeless. But over 800 metres in the pool, she was a ferocious competitor, ferocious. But she hated getting out of the open water, out in the marathon. And I took her over to Italy once to race a marathon over there, and she finished it and got out, took her cap off and said, "That's the last marathon I'm ever doing in my life." So, Tammy, I take my hat off to you. It's wonderful.
It's a very different world
the things
between
that you've done for swimming.
Yeah. It's very different. I remember that.
It is a different world.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And as for Minichiello, he deserves 4 boys after beating us the way they did the other night. I hope they give you a lot of strife, mate.
We better talk about that game.
Funny you mentioned that, Laurie. It's 3 of my boys are Queenslanders. Can you believe it?
Oh, hey, you. They cheering for us.
We had a big role.
Oh, mate.
I know. I'm so disappointed. I should have drove them across the border to have them, really. I wasn't dedicated. No.
I have to admit, I've always been a Queenslander. Even though I lived in Adelaide majority of my life, I've always been a Queenslander. And so I was a bit sad myself the other night as well. But, hey, credit to New South Wales. They were amazing. Mark, you must be a happy man.
Yeah, certainly. Proud New South Welshman, with my brother playing so many years there, and me striving to get there as well. It's to see the way they played and the pride they displayed out there was it's a great feeling. I was sitting there with my boys watching it. They had their Maroons jerseys on, and a little bit of banter from them, but they were very quiet by about half time.
And
mate.
The State of Origin, like, it's just such an awesome thing, and it is pretty big here in Adelaide. Obviously, we saw last year we had a great crowd in November. We were able to get it here for the very first time, and I think it's going to be here again next year, I believe, as well. It's a wonderful concept. You mentioned before your brother Anthony played a number of games for New South Wales. What do you think makes State of Origin's such a special thing, Mark?
Oh, look, it's a game like no other. You know, the rivalry, the passion that's shown by not just the players, but the fans and everyone involved. It's something that is probably unrivaled in any other sport. That just the competitiveness and the toughness and what you really need to go through to win a series is it's the pinnacle of our game, really.
It's just an amazing event.
Yeah, I think the AFL fans are quite jealous, I think, because we used to have a great State of Origin competition back in the day when, SA Victoria and for ages have been trying to bring it back, but I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. But it's amazing that the NRL is still able to have Victoria versus Queensland and players just taking it so seriously, mate versus mate, smash each other and then go and play again together the week after or against each other. It's just brilliant, isn't it?
Certainly is. It's
it's an amazing concept.
Yeah. Tammy, we better get you involved again. The 6 world records, obviously that's an amazing achievement, so well done on that. But what have been some of your biggest achievements through your swimming career?
Look, I'd probably say one of the most difficult but most enjoyable was swimming the length of the Murray and getting to see one of our greatest waterways in Australia. It was fantastic from a number of perspectives in terms of meeting all the people who lived along the river. It took a long time to get it organised because I had to do all the logistics for it as well. It had been swum one time before, and the record that I had to break was 138 days of consecutive sort of swimming. Obviously, I slept every night because I had to contend with snakes and snags in the river. So there was a few small obstacles along the way, but swimming about 6 to 8 hours a day, and it took me 3.5 months to do it before I ended up at Goolwa, just past Goolwa, where it flows out into the mouth of the Southern Ocean in South Australia. So that was really, really nice. I'd been dreaming about getting to the finish for a long time. So that's probably one of my, best memories, I think, in terms of swimming career. Lots of highlights, but that would have to be one of the best.
Well done to you. And now, Laurie, we'll get to you again. Obviously, Tokyo is not too far away. We're all getting very excited about it. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of the crowds and what have you. But I'll definitely, just after the last 12 months, what we've been through and with the postponement of the Olympics as well, how do you think the Australian swimming team's going to go and, how are they going to deal with the Olympics being postponed for those 12 months?
Well, some kids will be to an advantage because 12 months of a growth pattern in a swimmer really can make a huge difference. Kids can go to another level in 12 months. For those old stages that were hanging on because this is their last year, they'd be finding it tough now because they'd have had to do an extra 12 months. But the young, hungry kids, they would be loving the extra 12 months to get there to the Olympics. But over there's going to be no spectators. I was talking to Kenny Wallace the other day, who's assistant chef to Mckeon, looking after the athletes in the village. He's an Olympic gold medalist. So I taught him to swim many years ago here on the Gold Coast, but he's an Olympic gold medalist for kayaking. He said the Japanese are going to test every athlete every day for COVID. It's going to take them 10 hours a day, starting right early in the morning. Athletes will be tested right throughout the whole day. There'll be no spectators by the looks of it. The Japanese people don't want it. But still, the Olympics is something very, very special. I think the Australian swimming team are going to do very, very well, particularly local girl on the Gold Coast, Michael Bowl, who coaches here at Griffith University. I put Michael on an Australian team as a swimmer many, many years ago. He's the top number one coach in Australia now. And I'm very interested to see how a couple of his athletes go, particularly Emma Mckeon. Her mother and father both swam for Australia and a brother swam for Australia, but she is looking very, very good. If I had a few dollars, I'd be putting a quite couple of dollars on Emma to come back with quite a few medals.
Wonderful. And here from a South Australian point of view, can you see Kyle Chalmers going back to back?
Kyle Chalmers is a competitor. And if you're a competitor, you can do anything. Kyle Chalmers is a great athlete. He's had an operation, as you know, there in South Australia, on his heart. He's overcome that. He's swimming faster than ever. The guy that he's got to beat is a bloke from America who won 8 gold at the World Championships recently. He's going to be tough, but he'll be looking over his shoulder when Chalmers comes down the final 50 metres. I'll tell you now.
Yeah, fingers crossed he can do it again. He's a terrific fellow. I've interviewed him a couple of times and, yeah, just one of the nicest blokes. So, yeah, well said, Laurie. Let's hope that the Aussies can do us proud. And Mark, we'll get back to you again, mate. 259 games of NRL, the 6 tests for Italy. And, you mentioned as well playing overseas for Hull. Tell us about some of your finest achievements during your rugby career.
Yeah, well, I never achieved a grand final victory here in the NRL, something I always wanted to achieve. But, highlight here in the NRL, I played the semi-final against my brother to make the grand final in 2010, and the Roosters beat us in that and went through to the grand final. That was still a pretty special moment. Parents didn't know which split on that game, and that always sticks out. Again, I played with my brother in city country fixtures a few times, which always a proud moment, and playing for Italy with him, alongside him. But then, when I moved to the Super League, we went back-to-back Challenge Cup winners, first time Hull FC had ever won at Wembley, and that was a pretty special experience. In the Super League, the Challenge Cup is a very it's almost, people would rather win the Challenge Cup than the grand final. So it's the oldest competition in the world, really, and that was a pretty special moment for me, being involved in winning back-to-back titles for the first time over there.
Wonderful. And Tammy, we spoke before about some of your amazing achievements. I'd just like to know from a personal perspective, how the heck you would train for some of these amazing events that you've and the world records that you've broken over the years.
Lots of hours in the pool to start with, but it is difficult because you can never emulate what you're going to go through. Obviously, trying to prepare for, say, an ultra endurance event, which is sort of where my specialty is anything over 40 kilometres, and I start to sort of come into the fore, which is bizarre, but I guess it must be in the genetic makeup. I don't know. But yeah, look, you just do a lot of hours in the pool during the week where you're pretty much training, with heart rate and, doing the normal types of swimming that pool swimmers do training, but just on greater levels in terms of distance. And then obviously you spend a great deal of time in the open water, often acclimatising, because cold is a really big killer for us marathon swimmers. Hypothermia is a very scary thing to get. And quite often when you do cold water swims, like for instance, before I swam Bass Strait and also Loch Ness, I put on 10 kilos to insulate my body, to protect it from the cold. Sounds like a really bizarre thing for an athlete to do. And actually, I was the envy of my squad, because we used to get weighed every morning, and coach would be monitoring our weight to make sure we're not putting on too much. And I'd be the only one in the squad going, yes, I put on another kilo. Yes.
Most girls would hate that.
Yeah, and one of the benefits, apart from there's lots of hardships and there's lots of hard work involved, but probably one of the best things is that you get to have the diet of your dreams and eat lots and lots of things that are not normally on the nutritional list for athletes.
Macca's must have been on there, surely.
Well, absolutely. Because when you're training sort of, 20 to 25 kilometres a day of swimming, trying to eat enough to maintain your weight is difficult, let alone trying to put on weight, and a significant amount of weight as well. So, yes, I was having Macca's and KFC and fish and chips and Mars bars, all the things, lots of chocolate. So basically, if you're not sleeping or swimming, you're eating. It just becomes such a chore. And actually, one of my favourite things that I used to love to have was Sara Lee, the cheesecakes. And I'd eat a whole cheesecake after dinner. That would be my dessert.
That's amazing. No, it sounds like the amount of kilometres that you swam, you well deserved it. So, as
I said, one of the few benefits of being a marathon swimmer, you can eat and eat and eat, which is great.
And before I let you all go, we'll just finish off with Tammy. What are you up to these days post your career?
So basically, I have a swim school, and so that keeps me pretty busy. And I have a 13-year-old, and she keeps me pretty busy running around after her with all her sports as well. And I also do a little bit of motivational speaking on the side, so that keeps me out of trouble most of the time.
Wonderful. And you're looking well. You still swim a bit as well?
Yeah, look, I love to just get down to the pool, try and get down 2 or 3 times a week. And when it's open, all pools are closed at the moment in Victoria, but when they're open, I like to get down to the pool and have a swim and just, just turn over for 4 or 5 Ks. It's just nice for me to have my own think time and, a bit of enjoyment and a bit of running as well. I enjoy that too.
Wonderful. Well, keep up the great work there. And Mark, we'll get to you, mate. So you're also looking in good shape. So looks like you must keep in shape somehow. What's your tricks of the trade these days?
Tricks of the trade, lifestyle practices. That's what it is. So I trained for 20 years of my life, and I probably only train once or twice a week these days. But it's all about lifestyle practices and what I put in my body. I'm a corrective exercise and holistic lifestyle and a performance coach now, and so I help to teach people how to get out of pain and do postural assessments and write corrective programs and just teach principles of lifestyle and how to live a healthier lifestyle so we're not aging and in pain. So I like to teach those principles. I've lived them for many years now, and tried to be as holistic as possible in my performance, and that sort of paid off. Playing over 400 games of a pretty physical sport, and that's what I'm doing now. And then I've also got my brother's got a Minifit program down in Sydney. I've started that up in Queensland, where we again teach children to stay active and healthy, developmental skill-based games, and teach them pillars of health, educate them around healthy eating, hydration, sleep, the effects on screen time, and why we shouldn't be staring at screens too much, the effects on our cognition and development. So that's an in-school program that we're delivering and getting great results with kids. So again, it's all sort of aligned with just educating kids around health and well-being. Again, staying safe in the water all sort of plays a bit of a role in that. And so that's the 2 main things that I'm doing at the moment. And loving it.
Plus, run around after 4 kids, no doubt keeps you busy as well.
Oh, weekends, I tell you what, is pretty full on. They're all. I've got 3 of them at 3 different sports. So I've got league, AFL, and soccer. It's just mayhem.
Good on you. And Laurie, we'll finish with you, mate. Over there in sunny Queensland, what are you up to these days?
I'm still involved in the swimming industry. That's in my life.
Yeah, it looks like we lost Laurie. The joys of technology. It's a wonderful thing sometimes, but can be very frustrating as well. But before I let you both go, always like to do this with my guests. It's a bit of fun. Your 3 famous guests, alive or dead, that you'd love to have dinner with. Mark, we'll start with you.
I'd love it. Like my mentor and who I've been educated through, Paul Check, and he's someone that I've learned a lot of stuff from. So he's someone I could easily sit down and have a really long chat to. Yeah, look, I'm a big fan of Roger Federer too, to be honest. I think he's been a great famous sports person.
And Tammy, who would your 3 famous people be?
And Mark, thank you. I'm so glad you got asked that question first.
Sorry, mate.
So my 3 would be, I was actually going to say Roger Federer as well, because I'm a big fan of Roger's, and I just love the way he is both off court and on court. He's just, the consummate sports person, and what a great role model, and just, he's just amazing, and the longevity that he's had in the sport as well. I guess I would also love to have dinner with Gertrude Ederle, who was the first woman to ever swim the English Channel back in, I think it was 1925. She lived to be 98. I never met her, but I would love to sit down and have a chat to her, because I know she went through a lot, like at the time when she was trying to swim the Channel. Lots of people believe that women didn't have a place in sport, and so she had to fight through a lot of barriers to actually get across and have a crack at doing the channel. So she would be pretty amazing. And the last person is someone who's been a mentor to me for many, many years and been on a lot of my swims, and that's Dawn Fraser. She's always been an idol of mine. I was lucky enough to meet her when I competed at the World Championships in 91, and she was like the Australian team kind of like mentor, and we became really good friends. And strangely enough, she became fascinated with marathon swimming and has been on my boat for many, many of my swims. And it's just so wonderful to have someone like that, you know, in your corner and fighting for you. So she's always great for dinner conversation, Dawn. So it would be good fun.
You both answered very well. Sorry to put you on the spot, but that's what I love doing. That's the best part about it. So
well done on the dedication to be able to swim that long. It's you must have went through some tough times, so that's pretty impressive from an athlete's point of view.
Oh, thank you so much, Buck. I was actually thinking when you said you went back to Italy, I've done a race in Italy from the island of Capri to Naples, which is a 33-kilometre swim,
wow.
and that was one of my favourites as well. Who wouldn't love going to Capri? It's just swimming back to Naples that's the hard part.
Beautiful spot.
And hey, what about you though, mate? 400 plus games. Your body must be pretty bruised and battered though after all that.
It's actually nice. It's probably in the best shape of my career, to be honest now. It's like I said, I live some pretty holistic principles and really looked after my body. You know, only eat organically and you know, whatever you put in, you sort of get out, and that's true for everything.
Well, we've lost Laurie, but Tammy Van Wisse and Mark Minichiello, thank you so much for joining us, Legends with Bevo. And it's great that you're doing wonderful things with the Kids Alive Storytime program. It's a wonderful program and so important. Laurie touched on at the start with the amount of, drowning deaths. It's just too many, and we need to continue to improve, providing that awareness for young children about the importance of water safety. So well done to you both.